High Guardian Spice showrunner blames budget for the show's failure.
That was the problem, clearly.
Right.
That's why they had to steal all that art. The budget.
The budget. There wasn't enough room in the budget to steal appropriately.
Not just pay for the stock photos, but steal the stock photos.
Oh.
So the showrunner for the failed non-anime High Guardian Spice returned to defend his work, and much like other feminists, laid the blame everywhere, but on the ones responsible for it, and pointed directly to the budget for the terrible writing. High Guardian Spice, the failed Western show lacking in quality and originality that became the joke of the internet, has momentarily returned, as Ray Rodriguez, the showrunner, defended the staff for their terrible work on Twitter, blaming the budget for their failure and disabling replies whilst hiding comments. So this is what they said. High Guardian Spice had a very small budget. We were the first show of a non-union studio. If you're mad at the animation quality, it was the budget. Background art, the budget. Writing, the budget. Not this. Definitely not this. We literally started.
I know where the budget disappeared. Into their stomachs.
Oh. Didn't they crowdfund this thing?
No.
No.
Crunchyroll decided to give all the subscription
that's
money
why
thing.
it was controversial at first, is because Crunchyroll took the money that they got from subscribers to make their
anime
piece of
content.
trash anime content instead of giving it back to the studios and
To Japanese
in Japan.
creators.
to make actual things that their fans want to see.
So they said, we literally started storyboarding the first episode before the first script was finished. Do you know who else does that? Everyone. Hayao Miyazaki. And most of his shit isn't trash. So when we inevitably ran into problems, all productions do, we didn't have the time or money to slow down and fix them. We had to barrel forward and make do with what we had. And that, my friends, is why every character is bi. Right? Now, that is why, let me try that again. That is why the bread has the stock image symbol on it still. The watermark. People compare High Guardian Spice to anime because it's on Crunchyroll. But it isn't anime. It's a cartoon made in the same pipeline as any other American cartoon. Our budget was comparable to a Cartoon Network show. Amazing how it's worse. which are usually 11 minutes long, are comedy-centered and have much simpler backgrounds and characters. So tell me, how did that Avatar The Last Airbender, how did they do it?
That was Nickelodeon.
Yeah, but it's not comedy based and all that shit.
Its animation was based in Korea, and I'd argue it looks really good compared to this crap.
Really, the best show to compare High Guardian Spice to is Onyx Equinox, our sister show, and the only other show made at the same studio as High Guardian Spice.
Well, I'm not watching
Which is
that
also
anytime soon.
crap, huh?
Yeah,
Amazing.
Onyx Equinox had the
Excuse me, point of privilege. Can we not use gender terms to describe other shows that are siblings, please? Thank you.
Onyx, yeah, some of us don't have sisters. Some of us don't. The OCA Podcast doesn't have a sister show. So Onyx Equinox had the advantage of learning from mistakes made on High Guardian Spice. I'm going to show you those mistakes. There you go. And being union, but it was a lot of the same team and same pipeline. Well, it sounds like it also sucked.
Sounds like a team problem, not a budget problem.
So you're saying that the only thing different was you, Ray Rodriguez? What we were trying to make was incredibly ambitious for what we were working with, and we did the best we could. Maybe in another timeline, High Guardian Spice would have gotten the budget and schedule it needed to reach its full potential. And also, in another timeline, maybe High Guardian Spice wouldn't have been roped into the culture wars from its first trailer. That is on you! And marked as bad years before it came out. But alas, this is the timeline we're in, and all I can do is shout about it on Twitter. Instead of piling on to the High Guardian Spice's trash campaign, maybe think about what made it trash. What what happened behind the scenes?
You
Make it
made it.
We have empathy for the real human beings who did their best working on it, and think critically about who started this hate campaign in the first place.
You did.
So, well, yeah, you did, but like, I feel like a good creator would just own up to their mistakes. I was just like, yeah, wish we could have done better, maybe next time. But instead it's like, no, it's all your fault. It's the budget. It was everything but everybody.
No, it's the viewers who are wrong. Ray brought up Onyx Equinox, another Crunchyroll original project, which was produced at the same studio as High Guardian Spice. Are we referring to Stupid Monkey Studios? Which may have prompted Onyx Equinox creator Sophia Alexander to chime in, of course, with replies turned off and comments hidden. So they said, to support Ray's claims, same thing happened with Onyx Equinox. Learning our budget was near 1/3 of a lot of Western shows is ... Okay. So I don't know what it is. And a big push as to why we're unionized. What's up?
Which is 1/3 more than it should have been.
Yeah. And a big push as to why we unionized was because I threatened to leave before production started. Star. A lot of good people worked for the studio, though.
Wait, didn't they say at the beginning that they were not union?
No, Ray Rodriguez said that High Guardian Spice, the studio, wasn't unionized. It became unionized afterward because I don't get paid as much as a man who isn't working on this.
I'm working on a different project in a higher pedigree studio.
Wait a minute, ladies. There's no men in this writer room. That means we don't get to know how much we should be making.
I thought Ray Rodriguez was a man.
Ray Rodriguez is a trans man. How much is Ray Rodriguez making?
Right? Yeah.
There's a lot of nuances to this that I can't go into detail. There are good people that worked on the studio, and I'm infinitely grateful for their support. This isn't as black and white as it sounds, but know that, unfortunately, a lot of this happens to other productions. Crunchyroll was still one of the 3 studios that would have housed my show, and for that, I'm grateful. Crunchyroll was still one of the 3 studios that would have housed my show, and for that, I'm grateful. I wouldn't have been able to represent LGBT plus characters or a story about trauma and grief anywhere else.
That comes before, actually,
right.
I don't know, making any good product.
What were the other 2 studios?
Funimation. Disney Plus. I don't know. Critics noted that the writing was still terrible and that they should have hired better writers, though Ray perhaps continued to demonstrate the thinness of his skin. I'm not sure I understand. You're validating that the show had shortcomings because of its budget, but you don't want people to point out that it had shortcomings? I wouldn't pointing out the shortcomings caused by lack of budget point out the need for a better budget? Most people critiquing the show are blaming the team for not caring or being untalented, being SJWs, being gay, trans / women, etc. They don't care about the budget and honestly don't care about the show. High Guardian Spice is just an easy target that fills their boxes for harassment.
And honestly, they don't care about the actual budget itself. It's the writing.
Well, the thing I
Wouldn't
wonder...
critiques mean people actually watched it?
Bad writing is because of the budget? That's weird. I don't write on commission and my comics turn out good. Sounds like a false equivalency, but okay. Hope you're doing well, Dan Fan, though.
We're assuming that they are actually good.
Oh, double whammy.
When you have a draft of what's going down before you came up with a budget, understanding the direction and have something to pitch, because it's kind of rare for someone to just go, yeah, we got this budget for this, but we don't know what it is.
We're just going by the seat of our not pants, because that's,
skirt. I don't know. What is unisex? A kilt.
Dude, so current
Kilts
update,
don't have seats.
High Guardian Spice is sitting at a toasty 2.5 stars out of 5.
Whoa!
Where?
On Crunchyroll themselves.
I think it's 1.2 on IMDb.
I think it's 0.00025 stars.
I was going to say,
it's on Crunchyroll, so the
Old man
sounds like it's better than Santa Inc.
Yeah, old man says, "Hey guys, if High Guardian Spice was bad because of the budget, that just means they need to throw more money on the bonfire that is the next project, right?"
That's why Demon Slayer has the best writing of any creation because their budget's so up.
Yeah.
So
And One Punch Man had that huge budget that everyone.
Yeah.
But that's
Scientific Complex goes on to say the arguments fall apart. So the thing that amazes me is that the story wasn't written before it started. Like, I would have assumed that the general layout for the whole series was already written by Ray Rodriguez.
They literally said, "Hey, I have a show that I want to make called Rape Inc." Okay, throw some money at it. Well,
No.
Okay. Let's
Make it
write
rain.
it after the fact.
You're already out of order. It was, we have money. Make up an excuse to spend it.
Yeah, pretty much. So the arguments fall apart when an interview from 2018 is taken into account. As the head of Crunchyroll Studios, Margaret Dean, she's the one who had like Women in Animation and Stupid Monkey Studios. She said the following: with, quote, Crunchyroll Originals, the show will be entirely funded by Elation with budgets in the same range as what anime shows typically cost, Dean said. These original series also won't come at the expense of shows co-funded, co-produced, or licensed by Crunchyroll, which the company will continue to do, Dean said. High Guardian Spice, or any other Crunchyroll original, would receive the same budget as any anime series from Japan. And if this is true, the budget should have had a minimal impact on the quality. Hard disagree. Which might have critics continuing to believe the production staff was just terrible at their jobs. Well, look, if you didn't hire a Japanese studio to do it, then you didn't get to underpay the people. So if you did use money on the same level, then yeah, the budget probably is low. The reason that they outsource animation to Asian countries is because it is cheaper. So I will give them that. But when you start with a turd, no amount of polishing is going to make it not a turd.
Especially when watermarks are involved.
Yeah, right?
I can't remove the watermark. I can't remove it. I keep using the heel brush. It's always there.
Yeah, when the watermark, like, how much could it possibly have cost? Like,
our Photoshop Adobe Cloud license expired. We can't afford to get every member.
The thing about the watermark, though, where it was showing up on the lamppost, and like the lamppost, just fucking clone the top part of the lamppost post, and like clone it down.
You don't understand. They had no budget. Clone stamping, that's big baller bucks.
It's too much money to use the clone stamp tool.
The problem is that they hired a bunch of women to write the show and not enough people who actually knew how to clone stamp. They wasted all their budget on their Okay, let me just once again point out. All right, so I would just like, I've got a perfect point here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, by the end of the show, probably only 3 were left because they got eaten by the other ones. But I would just like to point out, I single-handedly wrote the masterpiece known as Once Cucked on Another Planet.
Excuse me?
So, if you're going to pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 6 women in the writer's room to write your trash show, it should be at least as good as Once Cucked on Another Planet.
It should at least be 6 times better than Cucks
And at
on
least
another
at least
planet
half
of
as
Cucks.
good.